Welcome to Season 2 of the Biz Show, sponsored by InvestQuire. And now, your hosts, Barry and Lisa.
Hey, Lisa, happy afternoon to you. How are you?
Happy holidays. I'm doing good, thank you.
Yes, the holidays are among us, aren't they?
Yes, we're winding the year down.
Getting ready to gear up for the new one.
I know, I'm excited for 2025.
So am I.
Yes,
So am I. I'm
years go
looking
by so
this
fast.
skyrocket. I'm looking for a skyrocket.
Oh, I love it. Yes, everyone's thinking about their business goals and business plans.
Well, yeah, and you've come to the right place to talk about that stuff, right? So here at the Biz Show, we're all about business and business plans and success for our clientele and our listeners.
That's right. And a lot of those plans entail some personal goals too, and how to make it all work and intertwine with each other.
Yes, isn't it funny how, as you made a key statement, intertwine. It all is intertwined, right? It's a big spoke and wheels and everything. You're in the center and it all spokes out different directions.
Yes, I mean, you need money for your family, but you also need money sometimes to start up a company. And so all of it kind of intertwines because it's all about the balance.
It does.
So that's kind of what we're talking about today, right? How to
Yeah.
make a company thrive and with reduced startup costs.
Yes, exactly. So, first of all, everybody, welcome to the Biz Show. This is episode 12 of season 2. And today we're going to talk basically about some hidden gems for startups, right? And a way to reduce some of your costs, at least initially. And that's basically exploring benefits of business accelerators and incubators. And a lot of people don't know what those are. I've never heard of them. So we wanted to kind of just include you guys in, let you know what these are, that they are available. And also somewhere down the road here, we at InvestQuire, me, would love to build an incubator and help coach and mentor some of our listeners and clientele to become successful companies.
So is that our 2025 goal, Barry?
That would be the 2025 goal. Yes. That's why I said skyrocket earlier, right?
So excited because I really love to see people succeed. And I think that would be so rewarding to be able to offer that service and an environment that people could thrive in.
Well, you and I both are coaching mentors, and we coach people. And I have my post-secondary teaching credentials. I love teaching people, and this is part of that, right? So let's dive in, right? Let's talk about an incubator and accelerators, and basically the differences between the two of them.
What is a business incubator?
So a business incubator is a company like maybe us at InvestQuire next year, who will take and embrace a small startup company, bring them in, give them some office space within their own office building. Give them access, the office space, the phones, the network, the printers, all that stuff. Give them some guidance as to building their business, because we've been there and we've done that many times over and over, and then also give them access to their network of contacts and stuff like that. A lot of time incubators have access to investors or other companies that, for instance, maybe you're not very good at marketing and you need a marketing company, so that incubator might be able to do the marketing for you, or they have contacts that could do that marketing for you.
So we would have the office space with different conference rooms and individual offices, and also the hardware and software that they could tap into through their Wi-Fi and just have to bring their laptop, but they'd be able to utilize the office space and the meeting rooms to conduct meetings for their businesses, and then use the printers and the telephones, and maybe there would also be a receptionist that would greet their clients when they walked in the door. So it provides them a safe environment and a very professional look for their business with brick and mortar, right?
Exactly. And typically, the fees on these are cheap. They're like $500 per person, right? So if you're a small business and you need a brick and mortar space, you're not going to rent a nice office space and stuff like that for $1,000 a month or $2,000 a month.
So
It's
it's
going to
very
be,
affordable, right? It's easy
yes, yes, yes,
small businesses or businesses that are starting up to be able to afford to have a professional environment and not have to, you know, spend thousands and thousands of dollars in renting their own space.
exactly. So typically, incubators, the way they work and they charge is they'll charge like, let's say, $500 per person per month, and then they'll take also an equity stake in your company of 3-4% of a share of your company, and that's that. You're done.
Is there always
And
an equity stake, Barry?
there's not always, but if there's not always an equity stake, it might be a higher front end cost, a monthly cost, right?
Uh,
But yeah, most of the time, I'd say 80% of the time there is an equity stake.
Yeah, and it's so important to be in a business environment. As we all know, working from home sometimes doesn't create the motivation or the actual environment for success. So it's great to be in a business. You wake up in the morning and get ready for work and have a beautiful office to go to. So this is really the focus of incubators.
Yes, exactly. Uh, Starbucks is not the best place to hold a business meeting or a
I
conference,
know.
right?
So noisy in there with all the espresso machines and all the people that come and go. It's just a very, very distracting environment.
It is. It is. So that's the first thing, incubator, right? That's what they do, and they're very affordable and on the cheap side for a startup to get in. The second one then is an accelerator.
So accelerators are very similar,
They are
but
similar.
yeah, they have what more focused on scaling the businesses quickly, like getting them in and out on their own.
Yeah, let me say this. Typically, an incubator is anywhere from a year to 3 years that you might be there. Accelerators, basically, you're there 6 months, right?
Okay.
They
That's the main.
provide, yeah, they provide pretty much some of the same stuff, but a faster pace. They also help you with like your pitches for investors and stuff like that, and help you fine tune those and get those ready. And then so that way you can present with confidence to investors.
So some people require that upfront to know whether or not they're going to find business successes. They want to be able to key into those opportunities for matching their product with investors, right?
Right. Something I failed to mention too on the incubators is sometimes there's class teachings and an environment where we're teaching somebody like marketing or finance or accounting or billing.
So there's some mentorship involved there.
Yes, definitely. On both sides, but it's really fast paced on the accelerator because it's about a 6 month program. You're in, you're built, your business is already pretty much built, but now you're ready to go to the next step, go IPO, go find investors, whatever the case might be. That's where accelerator comes in.
Right. So there's benefits of doing both, but everyone has their own needs at the time or stage of their business development. So what are some of the benefits that we could talk about?
Well, we talked about a little bit. The first one is, mentorship, right? So you get the office space and all that stuff, but then you also get access to seasoned entrepreneurs like ourselves who have started many businesses and can help coach and mentor them and guide them in the right direction of whatever the goal is that they're heading out to be. So they can help them avoid pitfalls and things like that.
Right, because a big part of that is having the resources already built in and have the person to go to within the office to ask for a reference, a
Well,
trusted.
right, exactly. And Lisa, you're doing this right now with the Bella Properties and the team that you've built, right? You're
That's
the
right.
coach and the mentor, and you've got 5, 6 people underneath you, and you're guiding them and coaching them and teaching them what to do. You just were on a phone with one of them about, working a deal.
That's right. It never stops. And so that's really where the value comes in an incubator situation is really being able to know the answer quickly rather than having to do the research and invest the time where you could potentially lose the client because you're having to do all that legwork yourself.
Well, time is a killer. You're right, and the longer you spend not doing something, the longer your competition can zoom in and take them away.
That's right. We don't want that to happen.
Right. So what's the next one, Lisa?
So networking opportunities, being in the environment to network, and maybe somebody that you're talking to in the office environment has a lead for you or could help you bring that client to fruition, right? So networking is so key in any business because we all are here to help each other. Hopefully, it takes a team to build an empire. And so networking opportunities are prevalent in an incubator environment and also as if you were in the accelerator environment.
Right. And let me ask you a question. Of your clientele that you get, how much of that clientele comes from networking versus cold calling?
Oh, I would say networking is definitely a higher percentage because they understand that you're in the business, you're working hard as they are in their business, and they would really trust you from the get-go. Whereas a cold call, you really have to build that relationship. It takes a longer period of time, and sometimes it doesn't always pop right away. So in networking, it's a more quick process, and they would be more willing to hand over a lead or a client and trust you to bring it to a close. So networking is definitely a greater percentage of having that come to a sale or a success with that client.
Yeah, I absolutely agree on that. And let's face it, networking is a warm introduction. Cold calling, not so much.
Yeah, and those are all relationships that you want that are very valuable. So you want to also pay the favor back, and then therefore you're able to extend the referral to a future client for the persons that have referred you, because obviously you want to be paying it forward all the time, right?
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, we belong to a couple of networking groups and we've gotten a really good some really good networking leads out of them.
Yeah,
And we've given some back.
right. You definitely appreciate those people that you meet. It could happen in any way, shape, and form. You don't even have to be in an event, and you might meet somebody off the street that becomes a great source for you.
This is
So,
true.
so valuable to be able to provide referrals. I think everybody really trusts those referrals. And especially when they become a successful piece of your business, then you definitely have a lot of gratitude for those networking um, relationships.
Exactly. Completely agree with that.
So we have those for you. If you ever need an investor or private equity or something, we can definitely help you. Just call Barry or myself at InvestQuire, and we'd be glad to pass along a name or a referral.
Yeah. And that kind of leads into the next one, right? It's access to funding. And the difference between an incubator and an accelerator, incubators typically have a list of funders or investors that they work with, which we do too. I got a list of 400. We probably work with about 10 of them right now. But most accelerators are investors themselves, and they're going to invest in your company, whether it's $50,000 or 500,000 or $5 million. It's going to be a certain amount. So accelerators are investors per se, and they help groom your business. That's why it's a short period of time.
And some of those are
So
called angel investors, right?
yeah, so there's venture capitalists, there's angel investors, and let me say this: if you're a startup, you know the difference between the two, right? Angel investors are seed startup investors, where capital venture, you've already got something going. You probably already got a product out there. Its sales are starting to go. And then that's when you're going to bring a venture capitalist in, and then they're going to provide more money to grow it bigger and stuff like that. So, but know this, either one of those, when you bring them in, they're going to take a large stake of your company, right? Not just a small thing. Angel investors, yeah, they might take 10%, but capitalists, venture capitalists, they might want 25, even 30% of your business. Plus, they're also going to want a seat on the board.
Hmm. Right.
And I've dealt with a lot of venture capitalists, and I got to be honest, I'm not a fan of venture capitalists because they get too bossy just because they have the purse strings. So, you've got a vision and a direction you're heading, and they don't like it and they want to refocus it. They're just going to pull back the funding until you get on the same page they are, which,
Right.
to me is not a necessarily good business strategy.
Not unless you're only about the money profits and you're not really have your heart in the actual company and the the outcome of it. Maybe it's just sort of a trial and error relationship where you just try to, make money quickly or want to align with some of these venture capitalists and see what happens, right?
Right. This is true. Now the thing is with the venture capitalists, they want a short exit, right? They want to exit out in 2, 3
Yeah.
years. So they want to be able to make 2, 3, 4, 5 times the money they invested within a 3-year period. Or they're going to come in and force you to sell your company. That, you see it short for venture capitalists. And they basically ruin the company.
Yeah, so if you have an investor that you've met along the way and you want us to vet them or have a full understanding of, what they're all about, definitely call Barry. He's willing to do that research or may know them already and could help you figure out if that's a good match for you and for your company and your company's goals.
We are definitely here to help. So what's the next?
Which brings us to shared resources. So the resources that we have in place as an incubator, from the office space to legal representation, maybe accounting and payroll, these systems are able to be extended to you at reduced overhead costs because you're just paying a flat fee to share the space, but you are getting all of these resources for no additional charge.
Well, true. Although there could be some additional charges, like on the legal fees, for instance, right? If it gets
Right.
too big or whatever, those
Case
are
by
things we
case
want.
basis. Yeah,
Right. So,
right.
well,
But day-to-day
yeah. So
operations are there for you to
the
utilize,
day-to-day
right?
operations, exactly, going to want 10, 15. But the incubator
You have to figure out if
charges a
that's
month.
worth it.
Right, right. And then the incubator wants, the incubator charge you, again, I'm just going to say $500 a month per person. So if you got 4 employees, you're going to pay $2,000 a month, but look at everything that you get. And
To utilize
everybody
the
gets it.
space. Yeah,
Right,
which will still be a cost savings in renting your own building, right? And then
right.
buying all the equipment and everything, all the office furniture and things like that.
Oh man, yeah. That can, it's
Add
funny
up
you said that.
quickly.
It's funny that you said that. Um, I don't know, maybe about 10 years ago, I worked with this company. They bought this really nice big office space, and they're paying like, $35,000 a month for this space. They got it. Well, it was an empty space. And so now they have to fill it up. They need desks and chairs and conference rooms and printers, a network and stuff like that. That costs sometimes a couple $100,000 to get that all put in, which for whatever reason they didn't have the foresight for that. So people were walking around. What they did is they went to Costco and they just bought the folding
Oh
tables,
my
and folding
gosh.
chairs.
Oh
That's
my
what everybody was
gosh.
using.
Yeah.
So
Well, there's so many resources out there that a lot of businesses don't realize. So hopefully this podcast will help you realize that there are different avenues for you to explore that may work for you better, in the short run and
yes,
in the long run.
exactly,
So
exactly.
speaking of that, like
So
the commitment for an accelerator is what more demanding than the commitment for an incubator because accelerator pace. So you definitely want to make sure that that there's a full-time commitment to that process, right? It's not something that you could just do on the side, but you have to be very present and available full time.
well, yeah, it's a short period of time, right? Typically 6 to 8 months, and it's intense. And there's going to be, the accelerator. If they're investors in your company, they're going to invest $100,000. Number one, they're going to expect you to be there every day.
Yeah,
Number
right.
two is they're going to drill you about your pitch to other investors, and make sure that you fine tune and get all your numbers down, and what you're talking about. You become an expert. There's no, well, let me get back to you is about that, right? You're the
Better have
expert
the,
of your company.
yeah,
Yes,
right. But as an incubator, you can show up when you want, I think, right? It's more flexible. You're the one paying the overhead costs.
what they needed. For instance, I knew one of them that was working on a RFP. A RFP is a request for proposal, and they were building, it's a bid for something, and they needed help on figuring out how to do an RFP. Well, I have lots of experience in doing RFPs, working with GE and the government and stuff like that. So I sat down, drove right in, taught them all about it, and within a week they had a whole proposal ready to go.
That's
But
awesome.
by the way, they won it too. Whether it's because I helped them or not is here nor there, but they did win the bid.
It's great. So their resources paid off in that circumstance.
It did.
Hmm. So
So,
what else we got here? One more challenge or misconception would be
well,
what?
the conception is one size fits all. It doesn't. You
Hmm.
know, as we've already discussed the differences between the two, you can kind of see, yes, they're the same, but yes, they're different. And one size doesn't necessarily fit all. It depends on the business model that you're working, the market you're in.
Depends on the
And
stage that you're in with your company growth.
yes, I would say incubators are more towards the beginning stage of your company, although I've seen companies that have been in there 3, 4, 5 years because they realize the overhead is so small. If I had to go out and get my own office space, I'm going to pay $20,000, $30,000 a month, or I can stay here and pay $5,000 a month.
Mm-hmm. Very
Right?
true.
Yep.
So
So,
also don't be misconceived that if you join one of these programs that you're going to have success and that your business is going to thrive. It all depends on a lot of variables and factors and the people behind you and the investor and all of it. All of those different components that we talked about don't necessarily guarantee or ensure success.
you know what, Lisa? Thank you
Is
for
that our
saying that. You
disclaimer
are
of the
right.
day?
Yes, yes, it is. And the thing is,
Yeah,
is this, it really hinges upon you, right?
always.
So we can only do so much, we can only teach you so much, but if you don't comprehend it or you don't care about it, well, then,
Yeah,
we can't make you successful on your own.
no. It's like leading a horse to water, but you don't know if they're going to drink.
We're going to lead you to the water.
Yes.
Drink up.
Oh my gosh. So there's a couple different case studies that you did some research on that utilized the incubator and the accelerator. So
Yeah,
these are kind of cool to talk about, but some people may be aware and some may not.
yeah. You're right. I'm sure everybody's heard about the company of Dropbox, right? A lot of people use it. They started and got their start in an incubator. There's an incubator called Y Connector or Combinator, and they're an incubator office.
Mm-hmm.
So they jumped in there. They used,
Right. That's
right?
great. Very little
So,
overhead involved there, and they were able to create a huge successful company.
right. If you're interested in it, I'm going to build a case study, a book, a case study with a whole bunch of different case studies of how a lot of these
Oh, that would be
companies
great.
got
Yeah,
their start.
right.
So probably first Q1 in 2025, I'll have maybe 5 to 10 of those available.
We could sell it through our website,
We are going to sell it through our
investfire.com.
website. Yes.
Education is power. I always say that. Knowledge is
Yep.
power. So definitely do
Yep.
your research when you're thinking of building a company. And Barry's got some great research and case studies to provide you guys. So look out for our book.
Definitely. So what's the next one, Lisa? The next one's pretty big, isn't it?
Oh gosh, everybody knows Airbnb. That's been taking off over the years. People like to vacation, right? And go away and not have to worry about furnishings and silverware and
Yeah,
packing towels and sheets. And so Airbnb has been a huge success.
they have. In the case study on this, they went through an accelerator. So they had built the model and started working it, but they needed investing, big time investing, and they got it. They enjoyed an accelerator called Techstars, and they really fine tuned and groomed them to fine tune exactly what they wanted to be, and then went out there and pitched it. And now they're $1 billion company.
So cool. Love it. These are awesome.
Yes.
Very
You,
motivational to read these case studies. And so hopefully it'll keep people thinking, right? How can they utilize these different formats to build success and make their business take off? It's all about
exactly.
connecting the dots. We want to connect the dots for you guys.
I like coloring inside the lines, but half the time I go outside. Think
Well,
outside the
that's
box, right? That's what they say.
Well, that's when you learn a lot, right? When you go outside the box and see what works and what doesn't work. So, speaking of that, is an incubator or accelerator right for you? Not every business needs an incubator or an accelerator, but if you're a founder considering one of these programs, ask yourself these few questions.
And what are they? What are those questions?
So, are you ready to commit to the time and the resources that are available and required? Does your business align with the focus of the program? Are you prepared to give up equity for the benefits that you are being provided? And that's really where people have a struggle, I think, on that last one, answering yes, because people just are afraid that they're not going to make enough money to sustain their living and their family and all of that. So they're afraid that if they do go out on that limb and extend out a share or a stake to an investor, that it won't be enough money to provide for their families. But having a business in and of itself is a risk. So you just have to ask if it's the right timing for you, and if the always, utilize negotiations when you're formulating those structures.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the bottom line is, you know, most accelerators, they're there to help you begin in the early stages and stuff. So those, it doesn't really matter so much. It more about the accelerators, right? Because certain accelerator programs have different paths and directions and things like that. Some accelerators are going to push you towards an IPO, right? Going public in the stock market. Other accelerators are going to push you just to get some funding to grow your business to the next level. And then you hear about companies that get, seed funding, and then VC cap, and then they have round A, round B, round C, round D funding and stuff like that. So it's always good to take a look at the accelerators and just make sure that they're lined up with your direction that you want to go.
Very true, very true. And even if one of these programs is not right for you, we all know that there are those go-getters or those people that have a lot of built-in network already. And so they don't really need to utilize one of these approaches because they have people in their sphere that will assist and help their business take off.
Yep, exactly.
So yeah, that's a wrap.
That's a wrap. So, anyways, just keep in mind that these are the hidden gems and tools for startup companies. The incubators are, right? So that's something that if you want to look into it, or if you need more information, Lisa or I can definitely help you and point you in the right direction. And as I said, we're hopeful that sometime in 2025 that we will have an incubator space for you already ourselves. We're still working on getting our own office space. So once we get that in place, then, we can probably move forward on the next step.
That's right. I'm excited to meet all of you. So make it
Yes.
a great day. And if we don't talk to you or see you, a wonderful, safe holiday.
Yes. Well, hopefully we'll hear, or you'll be hearing us next week.
Oh, that's right. We're back next week.
Yeah,
Back in action.
definitely so. All right,
Thank you,
guys. Well,
Barry.
listen.
Thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Lisa.
Have a great day.